This part of Britain was the Danelaw. It was as much a Viking country as Denmark at the time. Now, the Danes, they had a whole new set of stories. You see, being a Viking was rather dangerous. When you're a Viking, you could be killed by almost anything. You could be killed by weather, you could be killed by animals, you could be killed by other Vikings, apart from anything else. So, they made all kinds of stories to make sense of this really dangerous world that they lived in. They made stories about gods who were like them. Gods who were always fighting, gods who were always playing tricks on each other, and gods who loved to drink and party. And one of their favourite gods was this chap here, called Thor, the one with the hammer. They believed Thor made the thunder by, when he fought the giants with this hammer, it made thunder, the sound of the hammer hitting the giants. And the hammer, you could throw the hammer, Thor at least could throw the hammer, it would kill a giant and come back into his hand, which was a very useful thing. And one of their favourite stories is the story of Thor's wedding. Now, Thor's wedding starts one morning in the world of the gods. Wonderful, beautiful, peaceful world, until this morning when the gods are woken up by Thor going "Roar!" and throwing things around, and the gods come to him and they say, "What on earth is going on?" Roar! He throws something else in another direction. "Thor, calm down," they say. "You're smashing the place up. What is the problem?" "I can't find my hammer," shouts Thor. "You can't find your hammer? Right. Okay. Now, there was someone else who lived with the gods. His name was Loki. Loki was the trickster. If something went missing, or something went wrong, Loki was probably behind it. So, the gods all turn around to Loki and they say, "Loki, give Thor his hammer back." And Loki says, "I'm gonna." And they all go, "Yeah, very funny, thank you very much. Now, give him his hammer back, we can all go to sleep." "I haven't got it," says Loki. "Ah!" shouts Thor. He's even more angry than ever, sorry. He's even more angry than ever. "Okay," says Loki, "before you smash the entire land of the gods up, here's an idea. Calm down, I'll go and look for the hammer. Give me 3 days, I'll find it for you." Says Thor, "Okay, fine." So Loki goes off to search the 9 worlds. The Vikings believed in 9 worlds. There was the world of the gods, the world of the giants, the world of men, etc., etc. And 3 days later, Loki comes back and the gods gather around. And Loki says, "All right, Thor, do you want the good news or the bad news?" Oh, I have to say, Thor wasn't the smartest of the gods, okay? Give him a choice, it can take a while. Good news. All right, okay, the good news, that's it, okay. "The good news is, I found your hammer." "Great, where is it?" says Thor. "That's the bad news. Your hammer is in the deepest dungeon, the deepest part of the fortress of the Thrym, the chief of the giants." "Ah!" shouts Thor. It gets worse. "Thrym will not give it back unless he can marry the goddess Freya." Now, Freya was the goddess of healing. She was wise, she was beautiful, and right now she was very, very angry and reacted as you might expect. "I'm not going to marry this horrible giant!" etc. So now we've got Thor throwing things around, we've got Freya screaming her head off, and this wakes up Odin, the chief of the giants, the wisest, the chief of the giants, the chief of the gods, the oldest and the wisest of the gods, and he comes to find out what's going on. And they explain, and Odin thinks for a while, and he says, "Well, the fortress of the giants is too great, even for us, even for the gods to destroy. There seems to be only one solution. Thrym has to believe that Freya will marry him." "I'm not going to marry her!" I said, believe. Someone must dress up as Freya, pretend to be Freya, and go into the fortress, pretend that they're going to marry Thrym, but before the wedding, they ask for the hammer of Thor as a wedding gift. "Great," says Thor. "Right, who's going to be Freya?" "You are," says Odin. "I'm not going to pretend to be Freya, I'll kill them all first." "Oh, that's a good idea, Thor," says Odin. "How are you going to kill them?" "Well, I'll hit them." "Oh, yeah, so what are you going to hit him with?" "Well, I'll hit him with my hammer." "Oh. Right, dress." Give Thor a dress and a veil. Quite a big, I think a blanket probably would be good, thinking of. And Loki, who is of course still here, Loki says, I'm not going to miss this. So he goes as a bridesmaid. So they get into Thor's chariot. Now, Thor's chariot is a very special chariot. It can fly between the worlds. So it can fly from the world of the gods to the world of the giants. And it is pulled by 2 goats. I don't understand that either. So they get on, put in the navvy, and off they go from the world of the gods. They fly through space. They land. They come down. There's this huge fortress. They land in the great empty plain in front of Thrym's fortress. Stop. The mist is hanging over the plain. The doors of the fortress are in front of them, above these huge steps. And as they watch, they hear a voice. You have reached your destination. So then they climb up the steps. They climb up the steps, and the knocker on the door is so high that Loki has to climb on Thor's shoulders to reach it. As you can imagine, this really pleases Thor. So he bangs on the door, they go down and they wait, and they wait. In front of these doors, you can't see the edges of these doors, they're so wide, all the tops. And they wait. And eventually they hear the sound of literally giant footsteps coming to the other side of the door. And the door, they hear massive bolts opening the other side of the door. The door creaks open, and the ugly face of giant Thrym pokes out and looks at them, and Thrym says, "Yeah, what?" And Loki goes, "Okay, Thor, go for it." Thor can't say anything, he's so angry. Loki looks at these two and he says, one brain cell between them, I'm not sure which of them's got it today. So, looks like it's down to me then, right? Sorry, I'm a bridesmaid. Oh, great giant Thrym! Here is the goddess Freya, come to marry you! Freya. Ooh, Freya. Ooh. Thrym leads them in through the giant hall in the fortress with pillars. You can't see the top of the pillars because cloud forms under the ceiling. It is so high. And eventually, after a long walk, they get to the other end where the giants are sitting and waiting, and Thrym shouts, "A feast! A feast! To celebrate my wedding to the goddess Freya!" And all the giants leap into action. They go and they get tables full, piled high with food. This is a problem because with Thor, you put food in front of him, he does one thing. He says, "Thank you very much," and eats the lot. Gone in a few seconds. All the giants are there with their little knives and forks. And Thrym, they are hungry. Loki thinks, I better say something or we're dead. Well, oh great giant Thrym, Freya was so excited at the idea of marrying you, she hasn't been able to eat for a month. Okay, we only knew about this 3 days ago, but never mind, let's just work on it. And Thrym looked for a minute. Beer! Shouts Thrym, and the beer is brought in great big barrels. And the problem is, you give Thor beer, it's like when you give Thor food. Bam! He smashes it in a hole in the end. Thank you very much, he says. Boom. So, long pause, giants there with a little stein, And Thrym, Freya's thirsty. And Loki thinks, well, it worked before, try it again. Oh, great, giant Thrym. Freya was so excited at the idea of marrying you, she hasn't been able to drink for a month. Thrym. Perhaps we should have the wedding, says Loki, quick, before we all get killed. So, Thrym goes to the front, and Thor comes to stand opposite him, with veil, obviously. But Thor is now so angry and so drunk. His eyes are glowing red, so strong that they can see it through the veil. And Thrym is...
Freya's eyes glowing.
Well, yes, oh great giant Thrym. That's because Freya is so excited and full of passion at the idea of our wedding. Her eyes glow red. But first, we need a wedding. It is a tradition of the gods that a gift is given to the bride before the wedding. Okay, Thor, go.
What Freya want? Says Thor. Says Thrym. Goes Loki. Thor.
Not very helpful. I know, says Loki. How about the hammer of Thor?
Okay, says Thrym.
Bring the hammer of Thor. So some poor giant has to go all the way down to the bottom and all the way back up. And if he was having a bad day then, he's going to have a worse day in a minute, because Thor gets the hammer and goes, oh, thank you very much, and kills him. And then he kills Thrym. And then he sees all the other giants and wha-bam, 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 all the way around, killing giants everywhere, giants all over the place. And Thor looks at all these bodies of the giants, looks at his hammer and goes, any more beer? Never mind the beer, says Loki, grabs Thor, pushes him down the hall, and running down the hallway before any more giants come along, through the door, down the steps, into the chariot, and Thor says, to the land of the gods! Off they go, and Loki's holding on like this. He says, that's a brilliant idea, Thor, there's just one problem. What's that? Land of the gods is that way. Oh! Turns around, off to the land of the gods, and to safety.